The story behind You&Me Personalised Property Services, how we started.
It was a crazy story. We've both been in real estate for a long time.
Why do buyers continue to ask me what they do next?
Where else in life do you go and spend 7 figures, 8 figures?
There's got to be a better way to do real estate.
Always getting better, always doing those 1%ers and always outworking our competition.
G'day everyone, it's Heath and Simon, the two co-founders of You&Me Personalised Property Services, and we wanted to go into the story behind You&Me Personalised Property Services, how we started, why the logo, and a little bit more in depth on the company itself.
Yeah, and you know, it's amazing when you sort of reflect on how far we've come over the last 6 years. Super proud of the business we've built, the people that we've been able to help, and you know, all the positive impacts that we've been able to have over the last 6 years. But it was a crazy story. We've both been in real estate for a long time. I remember you coming to me. I think it's better for you to tell it. I always find it quite amusing, no matter how many times.
Well, you tell it better because you put some fluff on it. So
yeah, I do put some fluff on it.
So yeah, it was probably must have been 5.5, 6 years ago.
Yep.
We were both selling real estate, and I come out of a home open one day and I was like, why do? And I know why, but a rhetorical question: why do buyers continue to ask me what they do next, how much they need to put in, what's the process? Because ultimately I was there representing the seller's best interest. So although I'm not that kind of dodgy agent, I could have easily led them down the garden path and
but I mean,
all sorts of stuff.
Like, you're there to represent the seller. Like,
Yeah.
you go back 6 years ago, we're selling real estate, you're there to represent the seller. You get a buyer coming in and go, oh, you know, like, where do I need to be? I really like this property, blah, blah, blah. But like, the dialogue you have with that individual buyer is the exact same dialogue you have with the other 10 buyers. So you're telling all the same buyers, hey, look, I'd really love you to get this property, and you know, like, obviously we're offering it from $1 million. You need to be north of $1 million, and you know, you might not get 2 bites at the cherry with this one, so you've really got to come in with your best offer.
Yeah.
Hate to see you miss out, but you're saying that 10 times, and the buyer just didn't have any representation. They didn't have anyone else looking after them. And if you're a buyer, if you think about it logically, you're buying a property maybe once every 7
years,
10 years.
Yep.
So you don't know what you don't know. It's not that the buyer's stupid, it's just they're uneducated. You don't know what you don't
100%,
know.
yeah, 100%. But the reality hit, like, oh, what do I have to do next? What's the process? And I was like, you know, in my head, I'm here to help you, but at the end of the day, you know, when push comes to shove, I'm here to get the best deal for my seller.
Of course.
So I come to Simon, I said, mate, there's got to be a better way to do real estate. And he sort of looked at me and goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I've come up with an idea, and I don't know if it's going to stick, and I don't know if it's even any good, but the reality is that
I've reinvented the wheel.
Yeah, we've got to help. We've got to start helping the buyers. There's no one here to help the buyers. There's a million selling agents, but no one there to help the buyer. And he looked at me still bewildered, and he's like a buyer's agent. You know, Simon's done real estate in multiple locations, including over in the States. So for him, it was a nothing thing. It was like, yeah, great idea. But for me, I was like, what do you mean that exists? You know, the OGs in Sydney were only 15 years-ish ago for buyer's agency. And it was unknown in Perth.
And I mean, in New York, I mean, 99% of the transactions are in the US, 99% of the transactions involve a selling agent and a broking agent. I mean, it's just the way it's done. And when you think about it logically, I remember my sales manager in New York, he's like, man, like, so you guys, effectively in Australia, you guys are going to court and you're asking the prosecuting lawyer to represent you. And it's a dramatic analogy, but you know, where else in life do you go and spend 7 figures, 8 figures in some cases, and not have any representation? It's just absolutely crazy.
I mean, you don't go to Google and type in what my symptoms are and find out you have cancer. You go to the doctor.
Yeah, although plenty of people do Google.
100%,
whatever you do, whenever you Google, you're dying.
Yeah. So,
and it's the same in real estate. You know, you Google, you bring up the #1 sales guy. There's a reason why he's the #1 sales guy or the sales girl. Like, they're really good at their craft, and selling real estate is a trade. And the better you get at it, the better you get at your craft, the more you're going to be able to negotiate upwards. And that's when you really need that power of having a buyer's agent. And that's how we came up with the concept.
So that's how we come about. And then, you know, I always had an idea behind the branding, and it was simply, you've seen all our videos, we do it, and it's this. So it's you and me in a property journey together. So that's where the name come from. That's where the logo come from.
That's the house.
And that's the house to represent the subject we're in. So it's you and me in a property journey together. So that's where the name come from, and that's where it started.
And I love the name, you know, like just hearing it, it's like, yeah, like we're on it together. Like we're on this journey. We love being able to help people. And it does sound corny, but it's true. It's reflective of everything we've done over the last 6 years, the Google reviews we've received, and the wins that we've had for our clients.
Huge wins, yeah.
But we're hugely passionate about this business, what we've been able to do, what we've been able to achieve, and you know, we're looking for bigger and better things in 2025.
Absolutely. So, you know, I now want to touch on, you know, how we come about our core values as well.
Yep.
You know, they seem like they're a nothing thing, and, you know, to some they might not be, but to us, we were there for hours on end, and we were Googling McDonald's and Tesla and Apple.
All these
and
huge corporations.
all these massive corporations.
You know, we've got to be like them.
Yeah. So if they're a big corporation and they're very successful, if we copy what they do, then, you know, we'll be successful as well. But the reality was we sat back longer and longer and went, you know what? What is the company? And we are the company. Well, we were the company when we first started. Now we've got a team, but you know, we're still majorly in the company, and it's what we represent and what we valued as part of our.
What do we stand for? Who are we?
Yeah. So that's where our core values come from.
And obviously, the 3 core values we have. Number 1 is winning. Heath and I come from a competitive sports background. We love to win. It's got nothing to do with ego or arrogance, because we do come from that team environment. It's about winning with you. We can't win without you, and we like to think a lot of people out there can't win without us. So winning is always integral at our core value.
Yep.
And that could be anything from getting $10 an extra week
in rent.
It could be
new carpets, new
paint, getting a $20,000 discount on the purchase price, getting an off-market opportunity that's exclusive to our buyer, whatever that win may be.
Or even just an interstater coming from Sydney, a relocation. We love that. First
awesome
homeowners.
couple from Texas that we helped
into
relocate.
Port Kennedy.
You know,
Yep.
Huge wins. Number 2 was persistence. I think as far as qualities go for me, like I really feel like persistence is my number 1. It's like you never really know the test of a character when things are easy. You find out the test of a character when things are difficult. When you miss out on a home, or you miss out by $5,000 or $10,000, you know, it's very easy to point the finger and blame someone else. Or Simon, why didn't you tell me to pay more? Or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, why didn't you pay more? I told you to pay more. But that doesn't get you the house. Persistence and those 1%ers, in a short period of time, 1%ers don't make a big difference. But when you do those 1%ers, when you outwork your competitors every single day over a year, you start to create a gap. And when you do that every single day over 6 years, you create a really, really large gap. And that's one thing that we're absolutely committed to at this business, is always getting better, always doing those 1%ers, and always outworking our competition. And then the third one, which yes, we know a lot of companies use. Integrity.
Yeah, but for us what it means is, are we doing the right thing when no one's watching?
It's that simple. It's easy to do the right thing when everyone's watching, but what do you do when no one's watching? And they're our core values, that's our journey, that's our story.
And that's it.
And that's it.
us.
So until next time, guys.
Happy investing.
Happy investing.